3 months without answers. The mystery of the Usoltsev family disappearance. On Sunday, December 28th, it marked exactly 3 months since the Usoltsev family vanished, without a trace, in the remote taiga village of Kuturchin. 64-year-old Sergey Usoltsev, his 48-year-old wife, Irina, and their 5-year-old daughter, Arina. In 90 days of searching, investigators have found nothing. No bodies, no belongings, no proof they ever stepped into the forest at all. But the deeper this case goes, the stranger it becomes. The last normal morning. According to employees of the Geosphere tourist base, everything looked ordinary. On Sunday, September 28th, around 11 a.m., Sergey and Irina returned the keys to their cabin. They got into their car with little Irina and drove away. Before leaving, Irina asked for directions to a local landmark, Malvinka Rock and the so-called Wishing Stone. Then the timeline fractures. The family parked on the outskirts of the village, near the home of Lydia and Victor K. They stepped out of the car with their corgi and vanished. Lydia later claimed she saw Irina changing clothes inside the vehicle. Irina reportedly stepped out wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and slippers. Light clothing. So were Sergey and the child. But here's where it gets unsettling. At first, Lydia told police the family walked down one trail. Later, she said they went the opposite direction. And another detail. She noticed the tourists never returned that evening. Not the next day. Not even on Tuesday. Yet she told no one. The disappearance discovered. In another city, the alarm wasn't raised in the forest. It was raised in the city. Irina was known for never missing appointments. On Monday evening, clients showed up for a scheduled event, only to find her office locked. Her colleague, Darya Furstein, grew worried. She contacted Irina's adult son from a previous marriage, Danil Badalov. The next day, Danil went to the police. Search efforts officially began on Wednesday, October 1st, the weather lie. At first, authorities suggested a familiar explanation. They got lost in the taiga. Early reports claimed that on September 28th, the weather suddenly turned violent. Heavy rain, fog, temperatures dropping to 5 degrees Celsius, even snow. The theory? They hid from the storm and died from exposure. But that wasn't true. Weather records later showed the entire day was warm. Hot, even. Up to 26 degrees Celsius. Locals were walking around in t-shirts. The rain didn't begin until 7 p.m., long after the family should have returned. No traces. None. Thousands of volunteers combed the area. Nothing. No torn fabric. No blood. No shoes. No remains. The region is covered in tourist trails, wide dirt roads, and even a logging route beneath the cliffs leading back to the village. If they were there, they should have been found. The bear and wolf attack theory? No evidence. Which raises a chilling question. What if they were never in the forest at all? The strange videos. On the morning of their disappearance, at 11:25 a.m., Irina sent videos to Darya. In them, she carefully described their route. She mentioned heading to the Minsk Loop and staying overnight at a dome-style cabin base with a sauna, clearly referencing Geosphere. But something felt off. Irina had taken similar trips before. She never announced her plans in advance. She usually posted videos after returning. This time, it almost sounded like she was leaving instructions, as if saying, if something happens, this is where to look. A business trail attention eventually turned to Sergey Usoltsev. In the late 1990s, he led an organization distributing American grants to develop private business in the closed nuclear city of Zheleznogorsk, home to a plutonium production facility. In 2008, he headed another structure funded by British grants, aimed at supporting business in Russia's closed atomic cities. By 2014, those programs shut down amid rising tensions between Russia and the West. Sergey later founded a powder coating plant. Some reports suggest its products were used for defense purposes. Then comes another layer, an aluminum oxide nanofiber technology called aluminon, developed in Krasnoyarsk. In 2023, Sergey's factory began producing paint based on this material. The project received significant funding. 2 years later, silence. One more detail. The innovative company behind the technology listed an American corporation, Fanano USA Incorporated, as its founder. In 2024, that company was liquidated. If sensitive technology leaked abroad, there could have been serious consequences, including pressure from intelligence agencies. Did the family need to disappear? The helicopter rumors from the beginning, villagers mentioned something strange. On the day of the disappearance, some claimed they heard a helicopter nearby. At first, it sounded like gossip, but later it surfaced that Lydia and Victor K., the last people to see the family, had a friend, gold miner Andre B., who frequently arrived by helicopter, several times a week. Locals say Andre owns a remote base near the Upper Mana River, accessible only by helicopter. It sits near the Yulievsky gold mine. Satellite images show hidden structures among cedar trees, no markings on standard maps. Sergey had ties to precious metal trade in the 2000s. Business connections link him, Andre B., and mutual associates. And here's another critical detail. The Kuturchin region falls under Uncontrolled Class G airspace. Pilots are not required to file flight plans, meaning someone could fly in and out unnoticed. One theory suggests Andre B. could have extracted the family by helicopter, taken them to the hidden base, and from there they might have crossed into Kazakhstan, then China, a country Sergey visited multiple times, and eventually the United States. It sounds like a thriller, but so does this entire case. The song one of Irina's last videos shows her silently swaying to a haunting song, Nagor Kalina, by Moscow singer Tatiana Poklad. The music video features dark imagery, a forest, a figure wearing a sun mask, immersion into a river, drowning, a cave, and finally, a skeleton in the woods. Ethnographer Fatima Gamadova claims the video reflects an ancient Slavic pagan ritual of purification, a transition from an old life into a new one. Was Irina sending a message? We are alive. We are leaving. So what really happened? A tragic accident? A staged disappearance? International business intrigue? Or something far more personal? 3 months later, there are still no answers. Only silence. And in the forests of Kuturchin, silence can hide almost anything.